Alright, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 340. 340. So, there are no updates on these items. Actually, I was going to film a video today, but there's a bunch of jackhammering today. And they're doing a bunch of construction. Some construction in the building and construction out in the parking lot. So very noisy environment. And I opted instead to do a bit of work on the block mining simulation game. So it's been a while since I actually did a release for this game. And I figure maybe it makes sense to try to push toward some kind of goal, do a release, and then I think I'm overdue for like another devlog update, just a quick video to demonstrate what it's capable of now. So I'm hoping to get, I guess there's really two functionality things I want to finish. And then, it'd be nice if there's a bunch of more user interface improvements, but getting the multiplayer working with the WebSocket connection. And then there is a race condition. That's the thing causing it to crash when it moves around. It's because I need to move some of the block updates. So when I mine stuff and when I move the player character, it needs to do server-side validation instead of client-side. So that has to be updated. And then I guess the final thing is when I updated the memory model, that made it way slower. So I'll see if there's a quick way to make it faster. Maybe a different map type or something. Okay, so this is the current state of it. It's basically working the same. So that's the local multiplayer. Okay, that works. Everything's good. So I did for the WebSocket methods, the on close, on message, all that kind of stuff. I have a kind of rat's nest of functions that propagate all through the application. So I did some work to try and unwind some of those today. Yeah, so I moved up a bunch of that code into here, into the block manager thread pool collection class. And I think the thing to do is to I think some of these methods should be moved into the world connection class. Orthoplex 64, how's it going? So there's a bunch of threads. It's difficult to kind of figure out which thread to start pulling at first. Give it up for day 340. Yeah. Just a few more days. And we'll reach the goal. Almost a day, 3:45. Yeah. We're nearing the end of the series. PR command is a waste of time. I don't know. It's pretty good for it's pretty good for formatting your resume. APT 28-1. Bro, give it a little zoom. What do you mean by zoom? APT, Advanced Persistent Threat. Is Parrot the OS you're using? No, this is just Ubuntu. All right, deployment complete. I am slowly unwinding the references to the connection. They're used in like 3 different. There's the client code. There's the code for it has to work for the single player, the like local client connection, the WebSockets client connection, and then also on the server. Many opportunities for bugs. Oh, it's already open. All right, that works. All right. This is not broken. Excellent. Do you come from a land down under? Do you come from a land down under? Land down under? Actually, interestingly, given the time of day that I stream, there's a surprisingly large amount of people in the chat who come from a land down under. Is there any of the 8 people here from a land down under? LWK2EZ says, hola, what's up? Not too much, just working on generalizing some of the code so it can support, I can have local, it supports the local ability to have multiple WebSocket connections, so that way I can kind of locally test multiplayer. Pipe yes command to an RM command for the first time in a script. Thanks to your video. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's to be honest, I think I basically don't really use the yes command. I've only seen it in a couple of scripts, but it's interesting how, like, I don't know, there's certain features to some commands. Like some of those videos get like, well, the nice command that has 200,000 or 300,000 views or something, and the yes command is up there as well, even though I don't really think it's that useful. Running a software, 80% of the commands I use for what I learned from this guy. Oh, nice. I actually had an impact. Yeah, I'd like to get back to that series. I gotta make money though. Some of those, like I think I'd have to go back and check the revenue. I think some of the ones have got like a few 100,000 views. What would that be? The CPM for shorts is extremely low. I think the going rate that was in my mind was $60 per million views. Some of them have higher monetization than that, but a few of the older ones that only got like a couple thousand views made like $1 all time. Did it just so that colleague will see it someday and ask, what is this nonsense? Nice. Then you can link them to my video. Mr. Gary Busey, there are two things I'm excited for in the next month. Artemis 2 launch, Robert reaching day 365. Nice. Yeah, actually, someone sent me an email, said they set it on their calendar. So I've got lots of there's lots of pressure now. Hope the launch is a success. Yeah, I might be able to get a release out before then. Yeah, that's great. I could get people to promote my videos internally. The FKN tool. How's it going? Okay, this might be very close to doing what I want. do you think of functional programming languages? Do you think they have much use other than algorithm development? Have you ever seen them used on real applications? I do think it makes sense for things that are purely mathematical. Functional programming. Functional programming makes the most sense in like the most kind of pure high level application. But like the opposite, like a very imperative state based, makes way more sense. Like in C programming, which is actually an interesting kind of best of both worlds, because you can C is actually pretty close, almost a very like pure functional language itself, but it also kind of blends with the best of both worlds. It allows you to put some state. Although it's not there's a few awkward corner cases where it can't really be a functional programming language. But like with real physical hardware has physical constraints that are based in reality, and those are very hard to like you kind of have to have state, like for interrupts and stuff, and like if you're trying to send information over a UART or something, you have to have like specific timeouts and stuff. Into its functional languages, it doesn't really make sense. But I think the higher level you go in the language, the more it makes sense to have functional programming. I think it works well for Java, but like the classic like Lisp and stuff, I don't really have a lot of experience with them, to be honest. I heard of a Java variant called Scala or something like that is functional. How good are you at math? Um, I would say I'm not good at math, but I find math very interesting. Before I got my degree in software engineering, my original vision was to get a degree in pure math and like try to solve the Riemann hypothesis or something. And I decided it's probably a better career path to do software. Do you think being a top 10% computer programmer requires a good math background? I guess it really depends on how you measure top 10%. Because if you talk about like competitive programming competitions, the top competitive programming people probably don't necessarily make the top salaries, and they may not have they may not have the same career success. So this, I think being like if you're actually really good at programming, being able to think mathematically is going to help you a lot. It also really depends what you're programming. So there's certain types of things, like if you're programming web applications, for like certain kinds of web applications, you probably don't really need much math. But if you're programming like finite element analysis things that have to like do a ton of calculus and stuff, then if you're bad at math, then you can have a really hard time. Sound like a guy that is so good at math that you know that you're not good at math. I bet you're blowing the average engineer out of the water. It depends. I failed math in grade 10, but then when I went to summer school, I got like 100%. So I don't know. I failed the grade school. But I would say in university, my lowest marks were in math courses, and I probably got, I think I was actually in like I think I was in the bottom 10 or bottom 20% of my class, which is in the university, which is honestly, I'm not, it was a pretty competitive program, so. I know about a lot of like interesting math theories and stuff, but I find it takes a long time to really integrate it into my mind. James Goodrich says, how do you even compare computer programmers across the various subfields to even drive a top X% list? Yeah, it's really it's difficult. I mean, it's a conversation starter question, but it's difficult to answer precisely. Why did you fail grade school math? I didn't do my homework a lot. I would do my tests and stuff. I actually just like didn't do a lot of my assignments and stuff. And also the teacher, the math teacher, was like, I don't think he really liked me that much. And he was like super into hockey and used to always talk to people about the hockey games and stuff. Who drive top X% list in the first place as somebody that is able to be productive at scale. 90% of others are not. By no measure have it be lines of code. Yeah, I mean, working in a company, I don't know, it depends what you mean by productive. Because when there's like school assignments and stuff, but then when you work in companies and stuff too, like, it can often be the case too that the most productive person who contributes the most also gets the least amount of credit. And, it's about, like at Amazon, I would have people like push like half completed work onto me to complete and stuff. So there's like the coding aspect is one thing, then the office politics, interpersonal stuff is another thing. Figuring out how to get time with the project manager to get requirements, and like asking the right questions during the requirement stage, so that you can, because at scale, it's not just the software, it's also like deployments too. If you're running production software, the orchestration of deployments and figuring out how to do backward compatible changes, that's another element too. Got no live notification today. Interesting. Most of the folks in early computers, compilers, languages, softwares were not measured by tests per day, but by their end deliverables. Really failed on names. Do you mean you were getting censored or something? spelling. Oh, nice. That actually works. Oh, so close. That probably means I need a lock around it. Probably a concurrency problem. Okay, I think that's probably progress. Lapis Phoenix says hello. How's it going? In terms of like how much people contribute to a team, I think like if I was to design an A team, like without like corporate bureaucracy constraints, if I was to design an A team of programmers, I think there's actually like two different roles. There's like two different mental niches. And one, like there's a certain type of there's a certain type of programmer, or like, you know, academic who always does everything properly. So they like always read the rules first. They follow best practices. They don't use global variables. They make sure to obey design patterns. They always want to like clean code up and stuff like that and refactor it down to the kind of hyper generalized base case, optimize efficiency and stuff. And then there's people who like are the kind of more like chaotic ADHD programmers that write code, and it's like 6,000 lines of variables, and it's just like variables like A, B, F, Fn, Fn1, Fn2, and it's like a chaotic mess that makes sense only to them in their mind. And like if they're good at figuring out how to make something happen, and the code is like the remnant or the product of that. And I think individually, those two people are like, you can have people who are good at one or the other, but if you can combine both of those people, if you can get a team of one of those like chaotic programmers that produces the stuff that works really fast, like they can get the time to first time to like complete or like the time to build a prototype. The like chaotic programmer builds the prototype faster. They can like figure out figure out the proof of concept fast, and then you can give that to the person that refactors it, and they're good at like cleaning it up and making it something you can build upon. But if you and in like fast moving startups, the kind of chaotic programmer that makes the goals, they tend to be favored. But also, if that's the only person on your team, if you only have people like that on your team, then very quickly the code base becomes unmaintainable, and then everyone leaves. So ideally, you have a bit of both. How far did you take mathematics? As far as my university degree, and like, of course, reading Wikipedia articles randomly. I did like up to calculus 3 or something. So we did Fourier transforms, a bit of Laplace transforms. After university, I did some projects that touched on that. If you search my blog, I have some blog posts about using Fourier transforms. Actually, I have there's a blog post I have about taking arbitrary music samples and then using Fourier transforms to get to basically compress it into like a self-contained Linux command. So you can run a Linux command that actually has audio data in it, in the command itself. So that's it for calculus. In terms of algebra and stuff, I would say my algebra is actually pretty weak. I never did any like 3D game programming stuff. That's something that is interesting to me, but I just never got around to too many things to learn. You know what, that might work if I wait for it to load first. The abstractor versus the obfuscator. Yeah, I don't know if I call it the obfuscator, but more like the generalizer, like the custodian personality. That makes sense. Different programmers can be appreciated for different reasons. Yeah, I think most managers don't appreciate the nuances of how people think and solve problems. It's kind of like, I think it's one of the lowest priorities for an actual regular workplace. I mean, the real skills that managers usually seem to have are about like how to manipulate people. Like just tell them that their feature is super important and everyone is excited for it and they're waiting for it. And they'll be famous if they finish it. And then when they finish it, just lay them off. I wonder if that's a metric for fast-moving startup. When the code becomes unmaintainable, that's the exit strategy initiator. Sell this on, right? That is a common pattern. I don't know about selling. A metric for the fast-moving startup when the code becomes unmaintainable. I would say it's not even so much an exit strategy. It's like it's a wall that they hit that often leads to I guess it could lead to them selling it, but I think often leads to them just struggling. That happened to you? At Amazon, I remember I was working on a feature, and he's like, "Your feature is going to be, we need this done for the AWS reInvent." Actually, I'm pretty outside of AWS. I don't think really anyone thinks about that conference, but I guess maybe some people that industry partners. But I think the reason that conference exists, it's like to have an arbitrary milestone for the employees, so they can say like, "Wow, you better get this feature done. You're going to be famous at the reInvent conference. Everyone's going to want to be your friend if you finish this feature." And they told me that it was my feature was going to be like in the keynote presentation or something, and then I think later on I tracked down, like, I didn't go to the conference, but I tracked down like a video from the conference, and my feature was not in the keynote. It was like 40 minutes into the presentation on a slide, and the slide had text on it that was so small I couldn't even see it. It wasn't even mentioned. It was just like on a slide somewhere. All right, I guess we won't get that working tonight, but I think that's close. I think it's probably actually creating the two different connections. I just need to multiplex the sending of packets. Build tech debt and never pay it back. I think a lot of engineers are very excited to start a new project. Like that's like the best case scenario for a programmer, is just start from a clean slate, from a blank file, because you don't have to figure out how someone else did something. And for that chaotic programmer, that's their kind of like ideal habitat, is just start with a simple file. They're like often not very good at playing by the rules of an existing code base. And I've seen it many times over and over again. There's a lot of programmers, I think, that have zero experience, like their entire career. They have no experience working with a large code base that they did not write, and like learning how to navigate it and play by the rules and incorporate stuff. And that their instinct to everything is just be like, this system is bloated. Let's rewrite it from scratch. And they always try to rewrite stuff from scratch, and then they get like 90% of the way through it, and they're like, "Oh man, what have I done?" And then they leave the company. Welcome to most corporate development backlogs. Yeah. All right, tonight was another productive night. I think I'm getting close to actually working with two different clients on the WebSockets connection. And once that's done, the only functional thing to fix is the race conditions. On the chunk rating. All right, that'll be it for tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow night for day 341. All right, have a good night.